Welcome to the Depth Perception Podcast.
We go in depth about the perceptions and misconceptions of optometry,
which includes the business of optometry,
social issues within optometry,
and life as an optometry student.
Coming straight from Dr. Jasdeep Singh Soni,
Dr. Nadia Afghami,
Dr. Douglas Akiti,
and Svetlana Nunez. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Heary, what's going on, guys? How we feeling today?
Glad you're back, Doug.
We missed you.
It feels great to be back. I mean, I was so sad I couldn't make it to the last one, but we are here.
Where are you right now, Doug? This looks different.
Why would you call him out like that? Relax.
Where is it appropriate to wear that hat?
I'm in my office right now, and all my associates
Is your office the
around.
SS Minnow, or do you understand that reference at all?
The SS Minnow Johnson?
SS Minnow is Gilligan's Island, because Gilligan has that hat. Do you guys know? Please tell me that you guys know what Gilligan's Island is.
I absolutely know what that is.
I don't.
JD?
I know it's a show.
Okay.
JD,
about a boat and water.
And there's like a whistle theme song, but I can't do it. But
So that's Doug right now. Well, we have a fun topic today.
Yeah, we're here talking about optometry school. Remember back in the day, guys, like yesteryear when we were in optometry school?
I do.
No.
And
blocked it out now.
We're talking about what are some things that you wish you knew before getting into school.
Yes.
So, Svet, start us off.
Yeah. Well, 3 different things, right, Doug?
Yeah.
We'll start off like before what we thought optometry school would be, during school, and then after school. I guess we'll start off with the oldest, JD.
Hey.
What
Not
did
to call you out, JD, but
Yeah.
I'm the youngest.
The most senior. I get into the movies for free. Come on. Discounted tickets.
Let me go back. I mean, the oldest, like the person who's been practicing the longest, or oldest out of school, whatever. Okay.
That's right. I have a finger for how many years up right now I've been practicing. That's 5.
It's 5.
It's a lot of fingers, buddy.
Wow, that's too many.
I think you're kind of getting past the cusp of being a young OD, bro. I thought it was 5. I thought it was 3 to 5.
No, it's more than 2.
Being a young OD is not about age, guys. It's about how you feel in your heart.
That's what they
It's a
say when they're getting
mentality.
to their 40s. Everyone in their 40s says that 100%.
How dare you? Okay, some of us are presbyopic, and we like it that way.
Just saying.
Do you?
Well,
I'm not presbyopic yet, JD. Just
Okay,
answer the questions, okay? What did you know?
yeah. What did you think optometry school was gonna be like before you started optometry school? What was your vision of optometry school?
Great question.
Thank you.
I don't think I really thought through it. I don't think it was going to be that bad. I was just like, let's do this 4 years. New state. It'll be fun. New people. Let's party.
But I guess it's like, what were some expectations? Like, what did you just think it would be like? You just had no thoughts? Like, all right.
It's college.
College
Double
upgrade.
back
Remix.
Yeah. Like, did you think you're gonna have OChem lab again? Like,
I think I was just ready to move past the 4 years and just really get out there. And I just didn't really process how long the process was. For me, I never wanted to practice too much. And so I was like, hey, this is something I just got to do. I got to put my head down. I got to get through these classes. I was excited about going to a new state because that's why I went to Arizona. Get out of your bubble. Like, it was during 2016. Like with the first Trump election. So it was cool to like live in a Republican state after living in California my whole life, like being out of a bubble. There was a lot of Midwestern people. So I was excited to live in a different state and like a different culture, meet people from Montana or North Dakota. Like that's not an experience I ever had. So from that standpoint, I was like super excited about all that. But I didn't really think about the school part, which I should have, right? I'm sure all of you are going to respond that way, right? Let's go to Nadia, who's next, right? I'm sure you thought about the school part. I know I didn't, but maybe that was a defense mechanism. Don't think about the fear of that storm that's coming. I don't know. What did you think, Nadia?
So I think that when you're trying to get into school, you're like worried, like, oh, where is this gonna go? Like, where am I gonna get in? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I even made for this? You have all that anxiety. And I think once you get in, you're like, okay, well, whatever happens in the next 4 years, I already made it in. So you feel like a sort of relief. So I think I felt that a little bit. And people were like, oh, are you nervous? You're going all the way to California from Florida. Like, you don't know anybody. And I'm like, well, you meet people. Like, I'll just meet people. I don't know. Like, and I think that I thought that it would just work itself out, kind of like JD, right? Like, you're just surrounded by like your peers, and you'll make the friends and you'll do the things. And I think I was excited for my 4 years in Cali, just to like live there and experience it, and again have new things. It was like my first time leaving Florida for school, because I went to grad school there, I went to undergrad there, so it was nice to kind of, it was like really far, and it was kind of unfortunate that COVID happened, because I could like not see my family, but I didn't know that was going to happen. And then I think I thought that like optometry, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do one or two all day. Like, I don't think I really knew what optometry really was. Like, all the things that we have to know, and all the physics we have to know, and all of the disease we have to know, and all that. So I think I was like, oh, it'll be like, kind of like a technician school, which I think a lot of people think our profession is. But that was obviously not the case. And I guess we'll get into that afterwards. But how about you, Doug?
You were talking, and both of you guys mentioned moving away from home to go to school. I didn't realize that we all did that. Like JD from Cali to Arizona, Nadia from Florida to Cali, Svet from SoCal to NorCal, and then me from, I mean, technically I was living in Philly at the time, from Philly to Puerto Rico. I kind of felt like you, Nadia. Like, I was just happy to be there. I was happy to get in and excited to just take on that next journey of, getting through school to become a doctor. And I just was like determined to, my one thing was like, I'm not failing any classes and not going to retake any classes and going to make it through. Um, Aside from that, I think what I didn't expect was to see a lot of like the blood stuff, and like in those bio classes, and seeing how nasty things can get. I'm like, yo, I thought I came to optometry school for eyes. Like, what's all this? I think that was really a surprise to me, like in class, just seeing nasty stuff. But aside from that, yeah, I was just excited to make it and be a part of the process, and just make that change to be able to level up and become a doctor, being the first one in my family. So, yeah. What about you, Sweat?
Yeah. So I did a baby move, I think, compared to everyone. I just went more north. I was excited. I didn't know anyone in Northern California. So I think just like everyone else, it didn't scare me to go somewhere new where I didn't know everyone or anyone. I was excited to meet people. So I thought that I would like make new friends and I would build a community. Before coming into school, I thought that I would have more time to hang out with friends. Like, I thought, oh, we go to class and then we go party or go eat or whatever. I really thought it would be similar to college, but a little harder. But I don't know, college, it was like you have a lot of space between classes and your classes are spaced out. And optometry school is a little different. I knew that we would have to learn clinicals, but going into it, I didn't know like what clinicals would be, or like how you learn your clinical skills. I don't know, that part like never crossed my mind. It was just like, yeah, I'm going to lecture in optometry school.
So more doing than you expected.
Yeah.
Hands
Yeah.
on.
And I guess we'll get into more details about that, but I think before school, I was just mainly focused on like living in a city, because I came from more of like a smaller area in SoCal, like not so much in a big city. So living in a city, I think that was what my mind was focused on.
And then I just want to add too, just, going from Cali or Philly to Puerto Rico, I think I was a little nervous in terms of, man, like my Spanish isn't that good. And I took 4 years in high school, 1 year in college, so I could read and write, but speaking, I was like nervous about. So just like experiencing the cultural differences, and just how things are, the lifestyle of how things were. But I was excited to take on that journey as well. And I felt like it was funny because my dad came with me to move, and he helped me settle in for a couple of days. And being out there, he was like, man, this is just like Nigeria, so you're gonna be fine. Like I'm excited for you. He just felt like the third world country vibe was just so like home, and he was excited for me to be able to experience something like that. Yeah, I just wanted to add that as well.
Snake draft, Nadia, you go. This is where we go in reverse order.
Reverse order? How is this a reverse?
It's a snake draft. So
We just skipped
SV,
you.
no, SV said two things, then Doug, and then it goes to you
No,
and then
he's
me.
talking about, but now we're getting into what optometry school was like that I didn't know it was going to be like, right?
Yeah, like during optometry school.
Way to pick up on it. You press me up.
Actually, I think I I'm gonna head out. What I got in optometry school, I didn't know that I was gonna be so depressed. I think that there's a lot of the mental aspect of getting through those 4 years. There's a lot of like, you really need community, especially having like the pandemic happen and we were just like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, how am I supposed to be becoming a doctor and taking exams? I don't like, all these people are dying. Like, it was just like it was a lot of like heavy topics. And I know we have fires all the time, but like there was like fires all near Cali and stuff. So it was different, and I didn't expect there to be so many earthquakes and just a lot of like adapting. As far as classes, yeah, it was a lot to handle, but I think if you have the right people, it makes it easier because again, you're like going through it all together, and people nobody's going to understand what you're going through better than the people that you're going through it with, right? So I think I was lucky to have that, and I know a lot of people like struggled, especially like the first years that came in during the pandemic, to like find their community and like find the people to study with and find their support group, because really, I mean, like a lot of it's academic and that is what we're built for, but like what about all of the emotional stuff? Like that was like so heavy, and that's something I feel like you can prepare for it like in your mind as much as you want, but if you're actually going through that time, it's so difficult to like navigate, because by the time you like figure it out, it's like, oh man, I like already messed this part up, like how am I going to go back and change it? Like you can always make yourself better, but I think you just have to be forgiving of yourself during those years, because you're growing still and you're learning no matter how old you are. JD, and how you like have handled things in the past help you, but like it's just a whole new world. And I feel like boards, especially, like it's like make or break, right? You can go through all of the things, you can take the OAT, you can do all the exams, but like the mental aspect of like taking the boards and like studying for the boards and still having to like balance everything else in your life is so difficult, and it's a lot of what I think everyone struggles with and we've all struggled with. So I think that I just didn't expect it to be like that, because I was like, oh, I've taken exams, I've had a rough schedule, I did grad school, it wasn't easy. Like it was kind of the same regimen, like we go to class in the mornings and then we'd have like exam, but it's just different because again, there's so much pressure. Like this is the time that is like make or break, and I think we put a lot of that pressure on ourselves, especially around third year, so yeah, I think I didn't expect it to be like that, but I survived it. So what about you, Doug? How do you feel during school?
It's interesting because I didn't feel the emotional tolls like you and Svetlana may have felt, but I don't know. I just kind of just took it as it was day by day. And I think my school, or just maybe just my mindset, was passing classes, like I mentioned before. And so I did whatever it took to be able to pass, and didn't really have that focus on, yeah, and you still have to study for boards as well. It's like, yo, school is so crazy. These classes are intense. I just need to make it through. And I think that's a mindset of like a lot of my cohort and a lot of people in my class and my school. But just speaking for myself, that's how I felt. And so I wish that I knew before school, like you need to also be gearing up and getting ready for boards, even though school and classes are tough, because they don't give you time. You have to make your own time. And one of the biggest times that's necessary to do that is that summer right before second year, and the summer. Wait, no, I think that's the first summer, the only summer you get free, right? I think it's the summer going into third year. where you need to like lock in. I can't remember which summer it is, but you need to like start studying boards in the summer. And I wish I would have done that. And I wish I would have known that's what's necessary, because a lot of people I would talk to third years and they're like super smart. They're like, oh, you just need 3 months. Like start studying in December and you'll be good. But for me, I'm not like that. I need a lot of repetition. I need a lot more, just time with it. So I wish I started in the summer. JD, what about you?
Yeah, I kind of when Nadia was talking about stress, I wish there was better recognition of how to cope with stress. So like now it's like easy to say, hey, let me go stretch for 10 minutes, or let me go journal for a little bit, let me go meditate. Like back then it's like, I don't know what we did. Maybe talk to friends, which is still important. But I don't think there was like a consciousness of like, let me go to the yoga, let me go to the ice bath. Like I think you develop that over time. And so like you're all saying, there's a lot of stress. Like I remember one of my friends in school would say, everybody has shit going on, right? Like you have to put your personal life, your hobbies, things that you value on pause. And that's not easy. And I guess you just don't realize it until you're going through it. But there's a little bit of relating to what you're saying. It's surviving and advancing, right? Like you're just like, I got to pass the next class. I got to pass the next test. And I just keep doing it. And you keep doing it for 4 years. So I would say the coping with how to handle the stress. Just wish I had more recognition of that if I went through the process again. What about you, SV?
I think I remember a little more things. I remember in first year, I didn't realize that I had to pay for equipment after paying for tuition. Like I thought equipment was included in my tuition. And
Facts.
yeah. So I was like, $6,000 for all this? From where?
Well, good thing you found people to buy your equipment from.
Yeah, I did. I got a lot of my equipment from JD.
Did you buy JD's equipment?
I did.
That's how we met. I met her parents before I met her.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah. In a random Albertsons, they came next to my house. I met
Yeah.
them.
This is so funny. This is totally the butterfly effect. Anyway, continue.
No, it really is. It really is because it's crazy. And it's great equipment. It still works really well. Yeah, like it's great. I might
I'm
resell
telling
it.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
It has to be a special person, though.
It will. It will be.
You have to have like a tryouts and auditions to buy
No
your
random
equipment.
Albertsons, please. This time we're gonna
It's a
bonds.
decent-
Can we do that?
We gotta
Wait, maybe we should make
Costco.
a
We gotta
show.
level up. Who can't?
Let's make a show, like do a Shark Tank situation, and we're the panelists, and it's like these kids are trying to buy the equipment.
Like, what's your offer?
Nobody's gonna want to
What kind
buy
of
it
home do you live
anymore.
in? Do you have a dog?
I
How
know.
many retinascope exams have you passed with this?
I know.
What are your intentions?
What are your intentions? Yes.
But yeah, equipment was one thing. Another thing that I remember money wise was like putting a security deposit down for like the place that you're gonna stay at. But maybe that was different for me because in college I commuted. Putting a security deposit was not something that I was like familiar with at that time. Mental health, of course, I think you guys have touched on it, and I know it's different for everyone, but I didn't realize that the mental health issues that I've had previously were just going to be like times 10. You think that you'll be okay, but then things go times 10 and you're like, okay, I can't even focus on this because I need to get through school, but somehow I need to get through how I'm feeling to continue school. So I think that's everybody's journey. I think everyone finds a different way of getting through that. And what else? For what I was talking about earlier, I didn't realize that I would be in lecture for a full day. At least that's how they did it at my school. But literally 8 a.m. to like 4:35. You're sitting in there. And yeah,
Right.
you
It's
get
like a 9 to 5 out here.
yeah. And you get like an hour lunch and you're just like or like 10 minutes between classes and that's supposed to be great. What?
I was gonna say, what about the cost of boards? Like I did not know
Yeah.
and realize that boards would be so expensive and
Mm-mm.
that you got to take care of them yourself.
Yep. Not even okay. Cost of boards is one. Flying to part 3 is another. But then
Yeah.
paying for KMK or Opto Prep.
The
Nobody.
study program.
Yeah, the study programs.
And so if I were to go back, would I would have been a rep or a representative, a liaison for one of those, because they give it to you discounted, right, or low key
You
free.
get it. Yeah, you get some
So
kind of discount.
I definitely would have done that if I would have known.
Goes under mental health again, but I wasn't aware of how tired you would be studying for boards and then having to show up at clinic or do a full day of clinic and then going home to study. Part of that is like how physically and mentally exhausting that is. So I wasn't prepared for that until you're actually in it. But then another part that I want to share is that once you're in it and once you get it and once you know how to do it, you're able to do it. And you're just like, okay, this is like second nature. I go home, I eat whatever leftovers I have, and then I'm going to sit and study. And it gets easier with time, but in the beginning, you're just like, what is this? Like, what did I sign up for? And yeah, I think the last thing is the feeling of regret. I think in second year, I was like, why did I even do this? Why did I even sign up for this? And then you just like keep going and you're like, hey, I'm in too deep. I got to keep going. The end.
Did anyone else feel that feeling of regret getting through the process?
I definitely asked myself, should I keep doing this? Should you turn around? I think I don't know if I'd use the word regret. It's hard to. I don't know what your word you would use, but it's kind of like, yeah, you're already so much into it. You're like, you want to finish this, right? It's prideful. Like that's the only way you can get through this, something like this, to be prideful.
I think people that feel like they should quit don't see how far they've come. Like if you really look back at like all the things that you did to get there was like, like 20 something years that you spent trying to get to where you are. Like there's just these two steps left, and yeah, they're hard ones, but you just have to kind of get through it like a little bit at a time. I think that for me, I was like, oh, I have to do great on everything all the time. Like, and it was like, wow, putting so much pressure on myself. And then I was like, why am I doing that? Like, why am I waiting till the last minute to like be like, okay, this is what I need on my finals to like get this grade or whatever. But I think I learned it early, like not as early as I'd like, but like while I was going through it, like, man, if I set myself up with the easier stuff at the beginning of the year, then I don't have to be stressing for finals week. Like, as long as you like do well and apply yourself at the beginning of the semester, then you don't have to like be when all the tests are coming, then you only need like a 49 to get a B. You just settle for a B. Like, you don't need to get an A, Like,
Yeah.
so I think like just putting that pressure on myself, like I have to be like, I need that A, or I need to get like 100% on everything. And just also that mental aspect, or like, I have to pass boards the first time, I have to do this and I have to do that. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves during that time, because they like make us feel like this is the end of the world if we don't sometimes, that you have to like kind of do what's right for you and decide like where like your limits are and like how to get there.
An observation I'm making right now, too, is that I think it was all of our first time in our family going into optometry school. I think some of these things would have been easier if we had somebody in our family that went through it, or I don't know, somebody else that we knew maybe before going into it. Because I feel like once you know these things, it's so easy to share it with somebody else who's going to go to optometry school. But being like the first in your family to try to start this was kind of like, oh, I didn't know I needed to save money for that or prepare for that.
I don't think anything can prepare you until you're doing it yourself, though. Like, I think like you don't know what it is, because even if they were like, it's the hardest time of your life, I'm like, oh great, I'm so excited, I can't wait to start. Like you're just so excited because you've been working your whole life to get there, that you don't care. Like, as much as I tell people like, it's not easy, they're like, I really want to do it, and you're like, okay, well, you really want to do it, then you'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get through it. And if you have that motivation, you just have to look back and be like, I really wanted this, so I'm not going to let the old me down just because the current me is like tired and it's 3 a.m., right? Like, I'm not going to remember all the nights I stayed up late, even though I do, like you just push through, and you just, one day at a time.
But I think that's what's so cool about, like, it's like, why this is why we're here. I like being able to be a reference or be somebody that people can reach out to and ask questions about my experience in optometry school, my experience at Puerto Rico, and just, advice and things like that. Like, this is the Depth Perception Podcast. We go in depth about the things they don't teach you. This is literally what we do. So I really am happy that we have this space to be able to help somebody who may not have the background that we didn't have, our parents didn't have, which may help them in their process and journey.
I love that. I love that, man. We should maybe end by like giving like what would you tell yourself 5 years ago when you were in school or when you were about to go to school or something? If I had to tell myself anything, it'd be two things. Learn to be a doctor and be a better doctor, not learn to just pass the exam. And I think there's a difference with that. I think it was just kind of like you said, we're passing to pass the exams, of course, because you got to survive. But I never was like actually trying to like learn it and like process it and understand concepts more so than just passing the test. And so I would say you can do both by trying to just learn and understand what it means in real life and think about in applicable terms. And the second thing for me would be don't go just for the short term fix of feeling good because long term is going to catch up to you even within those 4 years. And by that, I mean, like some ways to feel good. I used to, after 7 a.m. exam, stay up all night and have 2 double doubles and then pass out the rest of the day. Do I think that was going to help me overall? Not necessarily, right? Like Nadia was saying, don't procrastinate. Or like don't just go out drinking because you think that'll like make you forget the night, right? So don't go for the short term fix, go for the long term fix. Do ice baths, saunas, healthy therapy, whatever it may be. Talk to your find a mentor. That helped me. My dean was my mentor, so that would be my advice if I had to look back. Anybody else have any thoughts
In retrospect?
in retrospect? 2020 hindsight.
Yeah. Um,
Monday morning quarterback.
I think that now looking back on it, like I enjoyed studying for boards, even though in the moment I hated it because I really felt like that was the smartest I'm ever going to be. Like that was like the pinnacle of smart. Like now I don't know how many cells a certain layer of certain whatever is supposed to have. I don't remember any of that. But I think that there was a lot of like, why am I not studying any more guilt? So kind of the transition between student and like real life is different, very different now that you're practicing. Like you have different stresses, but they're not like, I don't remember anything anymore. Like school stress, you just kind of forget it. It's like, when you have a baby and you're like, I don't remember, they're just cute now. So I think just being, if I had to give advice, just being like kinder to myself. And I think I know it's hard, but like not worrying about the little things as much and just I focus so much on like people that like I don't even talk to anymore. Like I wish I had focused on myself and the people that mattered to me a little bit more. And just stayed focused on making myself a better person and like appreciating the little moments that like, I'm not going to get back because I was worried about passing this class or studying for this test. So that's my advice, retrospect, Doug.
All right, I guess I'll go. A few things came up to mind in thinking of advice that I would give. Two things that I always say, and I wish I could have helped you guys with this, Nadia and Svet, is kind of just take time to have breaks for yourself and do things that you like to do, have fun. Like for me, mine was like playing basketball. I found a basketball community that was outside of our school, and I would just go there on Sundays and play with, the locals and expats who moved out there. So that helped me meet people who were living there and just, a whole different community than outside of just my optometry friends. So take time to do the things that you like because, optometry school is so stressful and there's so much that we go through. So just do the things that you love. Also, just having fun, go out and have a good time, but just don't overdo it and don't do too much with it. And then kind of like how I mentioned before, I would say come up with a consistent schedule and a way to like a consistent flow to stay on top of things. Because like Nadia mentioned before, it's easy to like fall behind and, you get 2 Ds and then now you have to get an A in order to get to pass the class. So if you're consistently getting B's and C's, like then it's easier to get that pass instead of having to work up and work so hard to get back and pass a class. So I guess I had one more, but I can't think of it right now. So that's what I'm gonna leave with.
I think the thing that came to mind was something you kind of mentioned earlier, Nadia. I used to be, and I think there's probably a lot of people like this. We've talked about it before, but like that 4.0 student, and you have to have 100% on every exam. And like that's how I walked into first year in optometry school. It's not realistic at all. And to try to like hold that standard is not healthy. And then along with that is like signing up for everything, like being president of this club and president of that club or secretary of this, da 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 da, da, and trying to get involved in everything. It's definitely not like college. Like you're not trying to like build a resume, you know? I think optometry school is really where you're trying to be the best doctor you can be. And I think something to keep in mind is everything that you're learning is something that you're going to need in the future. Like they're just not teaching you something random. Like it's going to help you be a better doctor at some point. It just depends like how you practice later on, but it will help you for your practice and it's going to prepare you. So I think just keeping those things in mind, you're studying to be the best doctor, not to get 100% on an exam. And like Nadia said, always being kind to yourself because just because you get 70 on one exam doesn't mean that you're going to be the worst doctor ever. I think you also have to, like, retrospect thinking, you have to be a person who likes to talk because we talk to our patients a lot. And you might be having like the worst day and your family is like doing all crazy things and your personal life is all crazy, but then you're going to sit and listen to somebody else's craziness and then give them the best pair of glasses, right? And the best dilated eye exam. So that's my retrospect right now.
You helped me remember what I was going to say. I'll just quickly say, I was going to say the last thing is to build a community at your school and really figure out who your team is, your people that you rock with. Because the people you first meet, first day and first year are not the same people that you're going to be super close with and you can call your brothers and sisters, the last day of school and even after school. So build your community, but also going along with what you said, Svet, is although it's doing too much to sign up for everything, I think you should sign up for certain roles and situations that will help benefit what your goal is and what you're trying to do. So like, I was like president of the Sports Vision Club because that's what I want to do. Being vice president of the student body to be able to help make a difference in our school. Doing different things that would just help you, but also help you to network. Because this is how we got here, through networking, right? Like we all became close friends through doing things and networking and getting out there. So that's also important to me.
And I want to say that I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I had gone to all the conferences because I really thought that I would have time now, and I don't. I have no time. I want to go to all the conferences, and now I have to ask if I can take off of my job and let down my patients, and it's worse. So I wish that I had gone to all of the AOAs and all of the optometry meetings, and there were so many cool places that we went that I'm like, when was I in St. Louis? Because I like collect magnets. And I'm like, I don't even know going. Like I went to Colorado. I don't even remember, but I just was there for vibes because everyone was there. And so go, book the trip, do the things, meet the people, go to optometry school.
I second that because I have no regrets from all the traveling I did in first and second year.
Absolutely. So get out there, go meet some people, enjoy, but also make it worthwhile. It's been a real one. Great podcast, great episode, y'all. And until the next one.